It was intended to be a month of quiet reflection. Just me, my plants, my books, and the gentle whisper of solitude in a vacant home. Yet, when he showed up with just a duffel bag and an enchanting smile, I had no inkling that he would be the one to pull me from the quiet darkness I had quietly embraced. It started on a tempestuous Wednesday, shrouded in mystery. Rebecca, my roommate and cherished companion, had just set off on her adventure to Europe. A month-long art residency, a dream she had yearned for, a vision intricately crafted in her mind over the years. Moments before she left, she leaned closer and asked me for something. Permit her son Benjamin, who was 23, to stay the night. His new apartment lingered in a state of incompletion, and rather than making do with a friend's place, surrounded by the clutter of a tight dorm, or seeking comfort on a couch, she yearned for him to have a sanctuary that felt warm, safe, and provided delightful meals. I found myself caught in a web of doubt. Not due to a lack of faith in him, Benjamin exuded an air of charm, a quiet allure that masked deeper secrets. Here I find myself in Atlanta, wrapped in a tranquil, leafy neighborhood, where the houses gather closely, whispering their stories like old friends. Following the end of my most recent long-term relationship, I promised myself that I would no longer allow room for those who decided to disappear, so I stopped trying. I had become familiar with my own company. My life had evolved into a quiet cadence. Morning tea, sultry jazz, secretive stories, soothing routines, a presence, any presence, drawing near to my world once again. The intensity surged around me, a force so powerful that I questioned my ability to withstand it. Yet, the sound reverberated in the stillness. He paused at the entrance, a lone duffel bag in his grasp, its material dampened by the unrelenting rain. "Hello, Miss Victoria." He smiled, his eyes warm and engaging. "I hope my presence is appreciated." A soft laugh floated through the atmosphere, leaving a warm trace behind. "You're just not. It has been a while since a gentleman has occupied this realm." His smile twirled with untold stories. "Then I'll proceed with care." In the soft glow of the room, he crafted a banquet, every gesture infused with hidden meanings. He conjured a tantalizing dish of garlic butter salmon, asserting it was one of the rare masterpieces he had genuinely perfected during his college years. The atmosphere was dense with an intriguing aroma, vibrant and alive. The kitchen, typically lacking in warmth, sparkled under a gentle light as he moved through it, radiating a sense of belonging. At first, we shared our meal in a profound silence. Then came the seamless flow of conversation. He asked about the mysteries tucked away in my garden, sought the essence of his melodies, and before we knew it, time drifted by, like a whisper in the dark. As I nestled into the evening, I paused outside my bedroom, keenly aware of the sounds of him getting ready in the guest room. His laugh, a seductive whisper, hung in the dim corners of my hallway. In that instant, I remained unaware of the transformation, yet an invisible power had shifted the entire landscape. I nestled into the sheets, the quiet enveloping me like an undisclosed truth. Yet after all this time, I felt a presence around me, a tantalizing allure that kept the shadows at bay. If this story has captured your interest with its hidden mysteries, share the love by passing it to a friend who enjoys that gradual build-up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The adventure has only just begun. The days that followed wove together in a choreography that seemed anything but accidental. Every morning, we awoke together, a quiet pact intricately stitched into the essence of our lives. I would float into the kitchen, wrapped in my robe, and he would be there, a quiet figure in the soft glow, bare-chested, standing by the warmth, blending together a mixture that speaks of comfort and peace. The aroma of breakfast wafts around, inviting yet just out of reach. Always the concoction. "Good morning," he would whisper softly. His voice lingered in a mist of fantasies, paired with a smirk that suspended itself in the atmosphere, just a heartbeat too long. We never discussed the way he inched closer on the couch, how his leg would gently graze against mine during those drawn-out late-night films. We never discussed how our laughter lingered in the atmosphere, elongating moments into something deeper, or how we invented excuses to occupy the same space even when it wasn't necessary. It was understated, lurking just below the surface. Not quite, it was everything that was left. Much like those nights when we savored delightful confections beneath the cloak of night, purely for the excitement it brings. He leaned in, his breath a whisper against my neck as he reached for the mixing bowl, his chest brushing my back, sparking a thrill that hung in the air. I stood firm. I stayed motionless. I lingered in the shadows, warmth enveloping me as I became acutely aware of every curve and contour of my existence. Or that sultry afternoon when darkness wrapped around the house, and I lit flickering candles that cast shadows dancing with untold stories. We lingered in the gentle shadows, exchanging whispers of the fervor that once burned brightly in our souls. He recounted stories of a girl who eluded his grasp, a transient specter who never fully acknowledged his existence. In the stillness, I found myself enveloped in a comforting embrace, my knees pulled close to my chest. And in my moments of fear, he chose to stay quiet. He effortlessly draped his hoodie over my shoulders and softly said, "I love seeing you get all snug. I should have stepped in. It would have been wise to step back when the space that once separated us started to diminish." Yet I held back, for the closeness to him sparked a thrill that resonated with an undeniable sense of correctness. It seemed like an inevitable outcome. One evening, I discovered myself meticulously folding laundry in the soft glow of my bedroom light. The door was slightly open, the home wrapped in stillness. He stepped in, holding 2 steaming mugs, one meant for me, the other for himself. He perched on the edge of the bed, an unexpected presence, cloaked in silence. "Text, you always manage everything on your own," he said, his eyes lingering on my hands as they skillfully folded the towel. I raised my eyes. "That's just how I've learned to see it. You really shouldn't be." I remained motionless, trapped in a moment that seemed to hang in the air. His words hung in the air, saturated with an unsettling truth, laid bare and vulnerable. His gaze revealed a hidden truth that night, as if the illusion of impermanence had finally shattered. It felt as though he hung around, waiting for my cue to transform into something extraordinary. And I yearned to, oh, how I desired to. As I reached for the tea and our fingers brushed against each other, I hesitated, savoring the moment and reluctant to part ways. I became captivated by his gaze, deep and fiery. My hand lingered, captivated by an unvoiced tension. It felt intentional, as though destiny had crafted an intricate design of purpose. In the quiet depths of sleep, he lingered in my mind, not with longing, but in stillness. In a quiet intimacy, I imagined the comfort of his arms as I awoke from my dreams. His breath hung in the air, a seductive whisper against my neck. I imagined the closeness of doing chores together, the serene warmth of tales unfolding on the couch during ordinary moments that shimmered with an unmistakable enchantment whenever he was around. As I lay in the stillness, ensnared by the sheets, my heart raced with fervor, and I couldn't escape the longing that the dream had never entered my thoughts. I yearned for authenticity, as it slips in softly with an alluring elegance. He had intricately intertwined himself into the delicate fabric of my daily existence, leaving me questioning whether I could ever reclaim the serene solitude I once considered peace. If you've ever felt a connection that crept in gently, quietly, yet changed everything, then dive into this video, share it with someone who shares that profound longing, and subscribe for more stories that strike a chord like this one. As the narrative unfolds, it starts with a soft deluge, not just a drizzle, but a storm that shrouds the home in shadows and silence, wrapping every nook in a haunting grip. In the quiet of my space, enveloped by the pages of a story, the light flickered and slipped away into shadow. Again, I let out a gentle sigh, my fingertips gliding over my phone, only to find that a scant 3% of life was left. A soft knock on my door broke the stillness. The shadows creep back, he whispered, the beam of his flashlight dancing with eager uncertainty. He grinned slyly, a reaction that was hardly unexpected, lingering at the threshold with uncertainty wrapping around him like a shadow. Longing for a partner I should have turned away. Still, I held back. He stepped in with a purposeful elegance, not as an inexperienced youth venturing into a woman's realm, but as someone returning to a space that throbbed with an eerie familiarity. He placed the flashlight on my nightstand, its soft glow creating a warm, welcoming light that flickered playfully in the shadows. He lingered at the bed's edge, silence wrapping around him like a shroud as he awaited the unfolding of secrets. It felt like a delicate dance, caught between the desire to stay and the dread of breaking the fragile balance that held everything in place. Express yourself. In the delicate nuances of life, profound aspirations emerge. The pains of existence resonate, harmonies reverberate, and solitude persists. In that dimly lit moment, it felt easier to reveal the truths we had long concealed from the world. I once thought of myself as a treasure to be embraced. I whispered. He looked at me intently, his gaze steady, his voice barely above a whisper. Your heart is a narrative waiting to be told. You've been longing in isolation for far too long. The silence that enveloped the scene was heavier than any thought could conjure, thick with tension and charged with an unspoken energy. I adjusted my position to place my book down, and as I leaned, my robe slipped off one shoulder, teasingly exposing a glimpse of what was underneath. Inadvertently, lacking allure, just feels off. As I shifted my focus to him, I discovered his gaze firmly fixed on mine, steadfast and unyielding. He draped his authenticity over his shoulders, unfazed by the flickering shadows that swirled in his presence. He welcomed the darkness. His gaze lingered on my exposed shoulder, as if it concealed a secret waiting to be revealed, as if I possessed any importance. You're exquisite, he whispered, and a piece of me broke apart. Not from despair, but from freedom. During the years I had hidden away, closing myself off, embodying resilience, keeping my cool, staying out of reach, and yet he saw me. Not the mask I donned in boardrooms or at social events, but the true essence that lies beneath it all. The fragile, seasoned woman who longed for connection. The unexpected turn of events caught me off guard. I never took a moment to reflect. I drew nearer, my lips meeting his in a soft embrace. It started with a gentle touch, curiosity piqued, delving into the unknown. But then he kissed me back, and the kiss deepened with a fervor that took my breath away. Not with hunger, but with an enduring yearning that whispers through the years. It revealed itself with a measured, purposeful intensity. It hung in the air, a captivating moment, gentle and inviting. His hands held my face gently, treating it like a cherished secret, while mine wove into his shirt, grounding me in that fleeting instant. As he pulled away, his forehead brushed softly against mine. We were both struggling to catch our breath. I didn't come here for this, he murmured, his voice dripping with an enigmatic charm. I comprehend, I replied, my voice trembling with hidden truths. Yet perhaps it was something we both yearned for. That night we lingered in the shadows, relishing the electric tension that enveloped us. We just hung in the quiet moments. He stayed in my sheets, enveloped in layers. His arm wrapped around me as the storm raged outside the confines of our sanctuary. My head finds solace against his chest. Our forms intertwine, sparking a warmth that resonates through the darkness. It was an intricate tapestry, woven with threads of longing and betrayal. The tapestry of feelings was beautifully complex. An unmistakable sense lingered in the air, as if fate had woven this moment into the fabric of existence. This signaled the start of a silent bond, an emotion neither of us could quite express at that moment. Have you ever encountered a moment so delicate yet so powerful that it etched itself into your memory forever? If the story resonates with you, consider liking this video and subscribing for more heartfelt narratives. Share it with someone who appreciates the elegance of quiet love. After that evening, a hush fell over everything, and yet everything had changed. The morning that emerged from his concoction of comfort, radiating a courage that challenges doubt. As though he had lingered in the background, waiting for the right moment to emerge. I floated into the kitchen, wrapped in my robe, with whispers of secrets dancing around us, and he offered a grin that held a silent promise in the atmosphere. It was a smile that hung in the air, radiating an extraordinary intensity that was anything but commonplace. He handed me my mug, his fingers brushing against my skin as they gently tucked my hair behind my ear. That was not just a coincidence. That was longing. That was an unspoken bond. And we both knew it all too well. The days that followed blended into a captivating blur I hadn't felt in years. Connection. We found ourselves exposed to the world. Yet each look exchanged was laden with unspoken stories. Each word oozed with hidden longings. We moved together in a rhythm of unvoiced longings with ease. It felt as though we had transcended the superficiality of dating, discovering ourselves wrapped in a connection that was richer and more reassuring. He started to take initiative, stepping forward without invitation or limitation, fixing the creaky door, cleaning up the traces of the meal, and meticulously organizing the threads of everyday existence. He didn't just inhabit my space. He etched a niche in the dim corners of my life, and I yielded to him. He would quietly approach me as I became absorbed in the cadence of cooking, gently kissing the nape of my neck. He'd nestle beside me on the couch, his hands gently raising my legs into his lap, as we became enveloped in the enchanting flicker of classic films. At times, he would grab his camera, immortalizing ephemeral moments of me in the most personal ways, participating in the most basic of activities, where mysteries reside and passions twirl in the dim light. He would later unveil those images to me, softly saying that I had no clue how enchanting I looked, completely oblivious to it. It transcended simple expression. It was the way he expressed those words, as if he genuinely embodied them, as if I were just a faint echo of someone more vivid and captivating. I was entirely his. As night descended, it transformed into a cherished routine. We'd nestle under the same sheets, at first just to surrender to sleep. But then arrived the evenings when his fingers would softly rest at my waist, lingering just so. Or when I would stir from sleep to the gentle touch of his fingers, gliding over my thigh beneath the sheets. And one night I turned to face him, our lips meeting in a moment that hushed the world around us. This kiss was far from gentle. It was longing. It was a kiss rich with untold tales hanging in the atmosphere. Even though it was brief, that night the bond deepened. He stripped back my layers, uncovering a concealed gem beneath. Calm and generous, we embraced the stillness, relishing every instant wrapped in shadows and soft whispers. Every touch held purpose. Every kiss hung in the air, a seductive ballet of longing. Our bodies intertwined, as though fate had conspired for this moment to unfold. As it came to an end, he lingered in the embrace of the sheets. He stayed exactly where he was. He enveloped me in a fervor that coursed through me like electricity, and I stifled the tears of embarrassment. Emotions surged as I finally felt the connection of another spirit within the profound layers of my being. Yet with the break of day, reality crept back into focus. Her essence lingers in the shadows, a chasm between our years, the secrets that would escape into the light if the truth were ever unveiled. His every move captivated me completely. This individual who was once just the offspring of my roommate, pouring coffee on bare skin, shimmering, amused by a clever twist that flirted with the edges of understanding. He was undeniably vibrant, yet there was a gentle warmth in his touch. Infinite, delightful, enchanting. There was an undeniable pull towards him that captivated my thoughts. I found myself grappling with doubt about whether to move forward. Do you believe that age sets the limits on our feelings? Or is it the connection that carries the deepest meaning? If this story resonated with you on a profound level, consider expressing your gratitude for this video. Share it with someone who understands the intricate waltz of love. And subscribe for more stories that explore the depths of the spirit. Moments faded into the background, not just passing moments, yet it throbbed with a fervor that danced on the brink of fondness. We had stripped away all pretenses. He had transformed into something much more personal within my confines. He was the inaugural silhouette that twirled into my dawn's embrace, unfettered and vibrant in the kitchen, moving to the smooth beats of timeless R&B while pancakes dance and twirl in the skillet. He lingered as the last whisper in my mind as the shadows descended. His embrace wrapped around my waist with a firm intensity. His breath caressed my neck, gently expressing feelings like I cherish awakening to the light of your world. I yearned to believe that we were embraced by this delicate sanctuary, that the cosmos would choose to keep its secrets hidden. On a Saturday morning, it finally came to life. My dear friend and longtime roommate got a call from her mother. She made her way back to town sooner than expected. In a heartbeat, the air in my dwelling thickened with an electric tension. Our fragile world, hidden and trembling, quaked. That day, our expressions were few and far between. I paused at the edge of my bed, staring intently at the earth below. My thoughts weave a complex tapestry of hidden truths. Did I act according to my own wishes? Boldly reckless, I had permitted her son to weave his way into my realm and into my arms. I proposed that it was time for him to go back to his own realm. For just a brief instant, he held his tongue. He looked at me, a deep melancholy shimmering in his gaze, an unusual vision that awakened something profound inside me after all these years. "You're shaking," he whispered gently. "Maybe I should be too. Yet I discover myself in another realm, because I've never yearned for something so profoundly authentic before." And then he slipped away into the darkness. The silence that hung in the air was stifling. My home once thrummed with soft whispers of life. Soft laughter dances in the air, the faint aroma of his presence still clinging to my pillow. Once again, a void took residence inside. I navigated my days, concealing the chaos inside me. Yet each evening, I find myself resting on that well-known side of the bed, crafting an absence for a presence that would remain forever lost. Until an unforgettable evening, a gentle knock resonated in the stillness of the space. He emerged, shrouded in mystery and enigma. He seemed apprehensive, as though he were about to plunge into the fire again. He boldly stated that their opinions held no weight for him. "Your presence ignites a profound feeling inside me. Within your embrace, I unearthed the profound layers of my authentic self." I chose to remain quiet. I moved in closer and pulled him closer to me. This time we resisted the pull of longing. We inched nearer, captivated by a silent magnetism. I always thought that my true calling would reveal itself during my 20s. I envisioned it arriving cloaked in flawless beauty. A ring of commitments, collective bond. A space where lives intertwine and stories unfold together. Yet there are instances when love makes its entrance just a bit behind schedule. Unexpected, unforgettable, and at times, it rests beside you beneath the glow of the moon, and ignites a flame in your soul that lasts forever. Have you ever felt an undeniable pull towards someone you knew was off-limits? If the story sparked something inside you, please show your support by giving this video a thumbs up. Share it with someone who understands the depth of unspoken longings. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more beautifully broken love stories that piece you together, little by little.